Welcome back to the Football Exponential Show. Today I'm Chika and I'm joined by.
Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Football Exponential.
Okay, Frank, let's go. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Let's go. What do we have for discussion today?
Okay, for today, the first thing we have to discuss is your takeaways for Chelsea versus Real Madrid preseason friendly. What do you think?
Uh,
What are your takeaways?
it's
Um,
um,
it was a
it's
2-1 win for Real
two
Madrid
one.
against Chelsea.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
2-1. It's another game on the American preseason tour. I think it's been a very busy schedule for the coaching staff and the players. There's been a lot of traveling and a lot of games. I think every a game every 4 days or so,
yeah,
and it's been. And if I remember correctly, I think the coach Enzo Maresca also pointed out to the fact that they've not really had a proper preseason schedule because it's been a lot of traveling, a lot of recovering from games. That you're playing again, you're traveling again. So they said the actual preseason was done 3 weeks ago when they all met for the first time in England back in Cobham.
hmm
And it's to the game itself. It was an interesting lineup. We got to see some players we've been looking forward to see in midfield. I think Enzo started his second preseason game.
with
Enzo Fernandez, that is.
Romeo
With
Lavia.
Lavia and Sterling was out wide with Madueke. I think it was a very interesting game. It was a very back and forth game. There was a lot of quality on the pitch. I think so. To my surprise, I think Real Madrid went because I think they're quite behind on their preseason schedule compared to us. I think they went very strong. It was a very strong team from the get go. Likes of Vinicius, Rodrigo, Diaz, Courtois, Rudiger were all lined up starting for Real Madrid. I think the first was a very energetic game. It wasn't really preseason. There was no preseason feel to it. There were a lot of challenges flying, a lot of it was a very intense game, and I'm happy no injuries have been reported. I think that's very important to state. So I think, but what I noticed was Chelsea's highline again was quite high, and that played into Vinicius' hand and Rodrigo's hand because of obviously the pace. James struggled a lot in the opening minutes of the game, trying to match intensity with Vinicius and pace, and I think he got bit quite a few times. There was also contentious penalty shout for Real Madrid that wasn't given, but I think it was an interesting game. Chelsea found themselves 2 goals down again. I think which has been a very weird recurrence so far in preseason, getting conceding first, going goals down first, and just overall giving good opportunities to the opposition. So we found ourselves 2 goals down. And I think there was a cooling break for the players to go really rehydrate. And I think the manager did some coaching where I think he tinkered with the structure of the team. I think we started pressing high up the pitch. And when we lost the ball, the press started to collapse. They stood off, they dropped deep, they
When you
covered
say we,
space.
Chelsea, right? When you
Yeah,
say
I
we,
mean Chelsea. Whenever I say we, I mean Chelsea. So,
okay.
so Chelsea, they dropped deep, got into good shape. A bank of 4-2, good. They were not pressing high up the pitch, leaving space for turnovers and counter attacks. Then we got a goal back from through Madueke, which was an interesting game, I would say, because it was always on the verge of trying to make something happen, but he didn't just quite get the right pass or the right cross or the right dribble. But I think he got a fantastic header. And on the other wing, Raheem Sterling had a few. I think he has a few I won't say chance, but a few promising openings with greater care of the ball might have led to good chances or probably goals. I think I'm quite sure of 2 or 3 of those. And it was a back and forth game. The game in the second half then settled down a bit and changes started coming. Then the rhythm of the game broke down. I think Chelsea just saw out. Chelsea had a few more chances in the second half. I think we could have had a very, very good chance to equalize in the early minutes of the second half. I think it's just another game where it poses more questions than answers for Chelsea in terms of the readiness for the new season and the readiness in terms of implementing what the coach wants to see on the pitch. And I think it just shows there's a lot more work to do from the coaching staff to the players, and I think the season starts a week from now, and there's still a lot of work to do, but that's to be expected. This is a new coach trying to build his ideas into a team. They were very, I won't say were very, I won't say they were tactically they were not clear on what they were trying to achieve last season with Pochettino. So if you understand what I'm saying, so I think it's interesting. Did you what are your thoughts of the game?
I only have 4 points to make.
Okay,
Four very clear points. I'm not going general or deep like you. I'm just telling you something that an observer, someone who's neutral, someone that has never watched Chelsea, that when I mean watch, doesn't have any emotional attachment with Chelsea, maybe watch them last season and is watching them again, will say. My number one point is you can argue or you can hit the ground, you can curse out. It is clear that Pochettino's style in the short term is much more simpler, is much more easier, and in the short term produces better results than Maresca's technique or style. I'm not knocking Maresca, no. You can't judge a coach in four games. At the same time, I don't have nothing against the man. I think he's a good appointment for Chelsea. That's not. I'm just saying that if you look the way Chelsea are playing, they are playing like people that don't have an idea. You know when someone is on your ear shouting instructions to you, that is how they are playing. That means they've been taken from their comfort zone, from what they've known before, to something entirely new for them. If you
it's
watch the
challenging. It's
defense,
challenging.
if you watch the defense, they are playing like they've never been professionals. Chelsea have conceded 11 goals in 4 games. 11.
I think it's. I think it's 12. I think
And
it's
and and
12.
is it 12? Is it
They've considered 12 goals, but they scored nine as well.
and all the goals, 99% of them are individual errors. The first goal, they try to keep somebody off. Is it the first or the second? They try to keep one of the Real Madrid players off. But the Sheila is keeping him on. This one of them also, Kobe doesn't cover up. It's just you start asking what is really happening. So I'm not knocking
Okay, okay,
Pochettino. I'm not knocking
okay,
Maresca.
okay.
I'm telling
I
you
know,
that
but
if
also,
and now I
but
understand why Pochettino set out the team the way he set it out because he wanted result now.
no, I think I'll disagree with you there because I think one of the issues we saw with Chelsea last season was
It's
their
going to be a
ability.
very long season for Chelsea fans this season. It's very when I if this guy if Maresca finishes eighth this season, it's a miracle. Okay,
I think no, no,
the beginning
I
will be
believe
very,
Chelsea.
very rocky. Towards the end, maybe January or towards November. But this early beginning, it's like they've taken these guys from somewhere. That's why I'm not knocking. I'm only saying, I hope you knew what the job he inherited or the job he was appointed to.
I know, but it's not going to. It's I think it's if I think if you wanted basic football, if you wanted basic football where it's very transitional, there's a lot of space when we defend.
Pochettino's own was much
Uh,
more basic than Maresca's own. This is a
no,
little bit complicated.
Pochettino is basic. I think it was a basic setup where the pressing wasn't good, the ball playing out of the back wasn't good, the control of the midfield wasn't good. There was a lot of space in midfield, were easily countered on. Transitionally, there was no traditional setup, attacking or defensive wide, defensive wise, and I believe that style of coaching does not apply to the
But
current.
but but they created chances. They created chances on
Yeah,
the Pochettino.
yeah, yeah,
If Chelsea had a
no,
clinical,
yes,
if
no.
Palmer
You
scored
say,
Palmer gave you 20 goals, like have another striker giving you like 17 goals, Chelsea could have finished top four. I can't rule it out. They,
yeah,
I'm not.
but check out. I think goal scoring was not necessarily Chelsea's problem last season, but the fact that Chelsea considered
No,
more goals
the defense was. Yeah, yeah,
than
yeah.
they ever have in Premier League
But
since
the
the Premier
defense is
League
good
history.
now. But
But
no, but
I know. You see, it looks worse now because it's 4 weeks into it's 4 weeks into this thing. It's four
I
weeks.
know.
It's still
Like,
there's.
like I've always said, I don't look much into preseason. I'm not someone that looks at preseason results and say this is where it's going to. To me, if I'm a Chelsea fan, that's why I said I won't say I like Maresca or whatever, but I'm saying I'm not knocking the man. I'm not. He's inheriting a team that plays totally different. Even Pep finished like third the first season. I understand. But all I'm trying to say is that Chelsea fans should be patient. This is just the beginning.
If
It will be
I
very, very bad. That's all I'm trying.
I fully agree with you, and this is not about they have to be patient
And
because it's
changing
Maresca.
will be more problematic or whatever. Just support
It's
him whatever.
I know. I think let's focus on what we have. Let's not think
Okay,
about changing.
okay, okay.
But also think it's important with sort of Chelsea fan base, our fan base, the people we talk to
Especially
on daily basis on group chats. Re- I think regardless of who the manager might be this season, it could be Guardiola, it could be Klopp, however it could be. That manager, any manager in charge of Chelsea right now, or in charge of any club that's aspiring to challenge for titles in Premier League and get towards 90 points at the end of the season, that manager is not going. Is no man. I believe no manager in world football is going to go to any team and get close to 90 points off their first season. I don't think it's going to happen. It's Pep. We've seen with Pep. Pep tried it. It didn't happen. It took Klopp about 2-3 years to get his team fully established in the Premier League and challenge for Premier League titles. Off the first season, it's entirely impossible to get 90 points. The last time that happened was Antonio Conte's Chelsea, where they were with likes of Hazard, Diego Costa, Fabregas, Kante, and the rest. But I'm saying right now, with the competitive landscape of the Premier League, because let's not forget now, it's not this is not back 10 years ago where they established top five or top six is set. We're going into this season and where legitimately there are about 7, 8 teams that could easily finish top four. The likes of Newcastle, West Ham. I don't know how that
Well,
season might go, but they've so far
expecting,
they've.
I'm expecting West Ham to push up. But like, I'm really expecting
Yeah, I know, I know, but we don't know. We don't know how. We don't know. We don't know how.
so many teams have improved. And to me, if you, I know people will
A
argue.
lot.
City every season. I won't say it's getting worse, but City are only
We
achieving what they're achieving because of Pep Guardiola's coaching. It's no longer the way it
that,
used to be before, where it's more sustainable.
but
Whatever they are
I
doing now
know,
is more sustainable than
but that I think that's also a good point. Like if you say Like you say Pep Guardiola's coaching, and you see with Arteta, you see what Arteta has done with Arsenal, how he's turned it around at the Emirates. That is down to his coaching. You can see his coaching. You can see his idea of how all his tactical model is being applied to this has been applied to Arsenal. You can see it on the football pitch. And when you back to your club when it was in Liverpool all these years, you could see his idea of football on the pitch. That's why I say with the Pochettino last season, we could never see it.
okay. Hold on. Let me hit you where it's gonna hurt you. Hold on. Let me just be really sucker punch,
Shoot.
and I won't want us to spend so much time on that. Maybe 4 minutes, 3 minutes. I will hit you very, very bad. I've been on record. I've been on record, and I will say it anywhere. I will say it as loud as microphone. The guys running Chelsea don't know what they're doing. Who?
Okay.
Hold on. I get you.
I'll let you go. I'll let you go. I'll let you
That's
go. I'll let
one
you go. I'll
place.
let you go. I'll let you go.
That's why one place you and I have always had different views, and I stand by
And
whatever I'm saying. Now, this is what I'm
yeah,
saying. This is what I'm saying. I don't want to spend too much time because we could make a whole topic out of it. That's
we
why I said
might. No.
that's why I said, I'm not knocking Maresca. I will never knock him. I have nothing against the coach. Instead,
Yeah.
I will support him or whatever. I have nothing. It's the person running the recruitment. Now, last season, Chelsea had the second youngest squad in the league behind Burnley, and the difference between
And
them and Burnley
and
was
no
not much. Let me
no
finish.
but no.
Let me
And
finish.
wait,
Yeah, yeah,
let me just interject. You said
yeah,
Chelsea had the second youngest squad in Premier League,
yeah,
and I also tell you Arsenal had one of the youngest squads in Premier League as well.
yeah,
Arsenal
yeah.
were, I think they were like third or fourth in that regard.
Yeah,
Continue.
but this is not the difference. Do you know the difference between me when I'm checking recently, when I'm checking football, I'm not checking the age. I'm checking the experience, how many games you have played. Someone might be
But ex,
21.
but
Hold on, Hold on. It's two things. We can be doing the same thing. I can check your age, Saka is a young player, but Saka has played lots of games. You don't expect him to be the same player that somebody is eight that has played only 2 games. Now,
But the
hold on,
point, but the,
let me finish. Now,
okay, okay. So,
this season, what did they do? They had one of the youngest squad. Pochettino kept asking for reinforcement in January. They didn't do none neither
but,
of that.
but they're
I'm
not,
not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's
but
right. Then towards the end, Pochettino aided them, or in spite of him, or despite of him, depends on how you see it. They finished eighth, or they finished sixth, right? They finished sixth.
yeah, six.
Is it sixth? They finished sixth,
They
which
finished,
was
yeah, they finished six. They finished six.
towards the end of the season. They won lots of games, and I salute them for that. Now, what did they do this season? Instead of them to get some experience, and I'll always give you a contrasting opinion. Newcastle, on the other side, are going for. Newcastle paid a lot of money for Kieran Trippier, who was almost like he was ace. They brought him back. Newcastle paid a lot of money for Dan Bond, who is on the other side of age. They brought him back. Who Newcastle have Callum Wilson. Newcastle have young players, long staff. They have Millie, the midfielder.
Louis, Louis Miley. Yeah.
Louis Valley, they
Oh,
have young players, but they
can
at
I
the
come in
same
now?
time they are no. Let me finish. Now, what did
Okay.
Chelsea do this season? They bought Wilson, which is good experience. Okay, they bought Renato Viega, 21 years. That guy has only like 18 months experience, right? Or 2 years. They are going for Samu Dion. 20, that guy plays in Segunda League. He plays in the Championship of the Spanish La Liga. They
No,
or
he
they,
no, he
they
played.
want to
No,
bring Atletico. But how many appearances has he made for Atletico?
no,
How many?
no. It's he
You
played.
can't call him Atletico. Who's it Atletico
No,
Jesse? But yeah,
no, he played in La Liga last season. No, finish. Then I'll come in.
20 years. I don't know how many experience. 8 goals in like 27 games. They brought him McGill, 18 years. That guy had only 3 appearances for Barcelona.
Uh,
They brought in Philip Jorgensen. Jorgensen has only had 1 season in Villarreal. One. They brought in Dewsbury Hall. Okay, 25. Okay, he's good. The point I'm trying to say is that
okay,
you are doubling down on the project. What happens to the
okay,
present? If these guys are not
okay,
winning titles or they are not challenging in 1 year or 2 years, they will ask out. They will want to leave. So I
okay.
don't understand this. The recruitment is flawed.
Can I come in?
Nobody has ever won any title the way Chelsea are doing it. Give me an example of anything that won any title this way.
Wait. I'll give you an example, and the example is
Okay,
Chelsea.
okay. It's
Wait,
your turn.
listen,
No,
no.
I'm
Let me
listening.
land. No,
I've had my points.
no. I
I've said
know.
my.
I
Yeah,
know.
I'm
Let
listening.
me land the plane. Let me land the plane. I'll need to take a lot more than 4 minutes. You ask as any team, as any other team won a title the way Chelsea have approached this in the last few
Okay.
years.
Do you like the way they approach it? Do you like the way they
Wait,
approach the transfer window?
I think no. See. I think that question is for that question. You asked me that question at the end of after I've given my points. So first point, you said that any team ever won a Premier League title approaching recruitment the way Chelsea have
Okay,
approached
hold on.
it. Thanks for that. Okay, again, I'll ask the question. You said, has any team ever won the Premier League title? In fact, let's take it further. Has any team ever challenged for a Premier League title with the style of recruitment Chelsea have shown in the last 2 years? My answer to you will be, in fact, there's been one team who's actually done something this similar and actually been successful, and the answer is Chelsea. This same Chelsea we're talking about. But the problem is that if you have to go back to 2000 and 2003, 2004, 5 period where Abramovich buys the club. Abramovich didn't just buy Chelsea and start on it. He bought Chelsea and the spending kept going. Chelsea is signing a player every other day.
I'm not against the
Wait,
spending.
I know,
I'm
I know,
against
I know,
the
wait.
players.
I'm,
Yeah,
s-
yeah.
I'm still going. Chelsea was buying a player every other day from the signings they made before or just before Roma came, signed like Joe Cole, Damian Duff, Good Johnson. These players were not quote unquote the superstars you claim or the experienced players you're looking for now. These were players that they showed good pedigree in the Premier League or they showed good pedigree in Europe. Then they brought them to Chelsea. The likes of Parker, for example. Glenn Johnson is another one again. The Roma actually comes in. One of his first few signings is Peter Cech from France. Peter Cech was barely, he wasn't older than 24 when he came to Chelsea and became Chelsea number one.
Okay.
Um, Ferreira, Ricardo
Cavallo.
Carvalho. you can
But
say,
don't
yeah, you
forget he
can
won
say that.
Champions League before they came to Chelsea.
Yeah,
He
and
had
they want,
Makalele.
yeah,
We had
yeah,
Makalele. We had
wait,
Makalele right now.
they won the Champions League, but had they not won that Champions League, does it make them does it make them less of the players that they would have been, or does it make them not good enough because they didn't win it, or does winning make you a good player? Winning can make you a better player because it brings in confidence and brings in more experience in winning. But I'm telling you, where at that point in time, Lampard was not who Lampard became to be then. Lampard was still a promising young English midfielder, like we've seen with other players like Messi Mount
No,
and that like.
you know
But
you're talking like a politician right now. Like you're
I'm
talking
not.
like
No, it's no. See,
I can
see,
never be wrong.
no.
You can never be wrong. I can never be right. Well, it's just common
But
logic,
there's the truth. And
and I
see,
understand what you're saying.
it's not about being right or wrong. But you have to look at the historical context behind it, and from what we've observed in the last few years, where what you're saying. I totally get your point. You want to explain?
You know, it scares me
Excuse
when
me.
I check the amount of games these players have played. It's
But
really
that,
not something. That's why I will never
but
go.
that,
I will never attack
but
Enzo. People don't know how many games did Enzo play. How many in Europe? These are young. Lavia only had one season in Southampton. Sometimes it works. It worked for Baba. It worked for
Is
Company.
Lavia a good player?
I love Lavia. Is my
Is
favorite in Chelsea midfield. I
okay.
tell you, I
So
love Lavia. Like I'm a Lavia any day,
no,
anytime.
but I know,
But
Chica,
there are exceptions, there are outliers. That doesn't mean it's the norm. That's
But
why
Chica,
everybody cannot
I
be
know.
Saliba, for example. Like
Yeah,
these are
no. Yeah, see, okay, now see, we'll go to Saliba. We'll go to Saliba in a few minutes. But
yeah,
the point is, ultimately, there's no sure marker. There's no way to predict what will be a successful transfer, regardless of age, experience, transfer fee. There's no way to predict. There's no way to predict it. If there was a way, trust me, whoever finds a way to do it, that person will make £1 million business. But the problem is, you have to identify players at the right time, and also you have to give them the chance to grow. Interestingly, you've mentioned two players from Arsenal, Saka and Saliba, and I love the fact that you did that because these are two players that testament to what good recruitment is, good coaching is, and what time and what patience and time to nurture that talent gives you. Because
yeah.
let's not forget, Saliba wasn't fancied by Arteta from the beginning.
No, he
Saliba,
was. He
Arteta
said
believed at the time
he
he had it was worse than that. Back, I think back
he
then
didn't
he had
use him for a long time. I didn't understand that.
Arteta treated Saliba then the way Chelsea are treating Chaluba. He didn't go on preseason tours with them. They relegated him to the under 23 team for preseason. They stripped him of his shirt number, or not stripped, but they allocated his squad number to another player.
Uh-huh.
And ultimately, Arteta went on record saying Saliba is not yet ready.
Yeah,
Saliba then goes on, then goes on loan to
he
the
went to
French
Barcelona. Is
to the
it?
French league.
Yeah.
Ultimately performed there. Was in the team of the season that specific year. Then he comes back to Arsenal and becomes the player we're seeing now. What that shows you is time, patience, and growth. And ultimately, a manager who was ultimately wrong came back on decision, gave this player a chance, and he's built his Saliba is bedrock of Arsenal success right now. People say that's what Arsenal actually won, but that's beyond the point. If you look at football that way, then you're already lost.
No, but
What Arsenal
if you look at football too, it's just not just winning, going on the right direction, the recruitment.
exactly, and
The, that's
that's the point.
I don't like one
And
of my worst clubs, Arsenal, Bayern Munich, and Barcelona. Like there's no love. But
yeah,
at the same time,
yeah.
I give them kudos. Yeah, they are sustainable right now, and they are
Okay,
doing they are doing
exactly. Then another player was the player that came through the academy, Bukayo. Sorry, he broke into Arsenal first team under Unai Emery, and he is a player that I think has played, except for playing centre back, he's played about every position on the pitch. He's had tries at right wing back, left wing back, in midfield, on the right wing, left wing. He's played behind the striker, he's played number 10, he's played in midfield, he's played everywhere. But ultimately, with Arteta's coaching and the stability that Arsenal have had in the last few years, he's gone on to be the player he is right now. And in my opinion, is one of the best players in his position in European football. But the player we see now, it would have been far fetched to believe that was the player. That's the
that's
player
the
we
same
see now. The player we see now. back then, it was unimaginable to think that Saka would become this important.
Even
Not just
even
to Arsenal,
Martinelli,
not just to Arsenal, but to England as well. Martinelli had, I think he had an off season last year,
but
but he's the player who they
you know what baffles me? And
well,
I'll tell you. All the young guys playing football, whatever their age, there's none that I rate as high as I rate Saka. Saka over Palmer, Saka over Foden. Wake me up in my sleep because
yeah,
what he
because
gives you defensively,
he
Foden
takes
doesn't give you.
he
But I don't know why fans, I don't know if it's hatred for Arsenal or they never
no,
recognize.
it's
I like Saka because he has almost a better output. Farmer has only done it for once. He's been doing it. Okay, Foden, him and Foden. But what he gives you in defense, getting back the ball, closing down people, the energy. He's the baller. I want
yeah.
him. If I'm a
I
coach,
think
every
it's
young
a
child he's an example I will give to
I think
every. My only fear
I
is that
think
he should get run out because that's what I fear.
yeah,
Rightly
that's the
tell.
question. I think that's an
So
issue.
so you feel you guys
Arsenal have to be
recruit
careful of.
you feel you guys
No,
recruitment is right.
no,
Do you know
no.
I'm so angry that I've never watched Samu Omorodion. I've never. I don't even want to watch him. It's that bad because like what are you doing? You
But
have
that's
Build, you have
again, I
Jackson.
know,
Both
but
of
it's
them in
not.
Washington. You know how many players they've kicked out them in Washington? They've kicked out Petrovic or when I mean kicked out slowly. You have all these players.
No,
But you
that's
don't
okay.
use
Okay,
them. Like
that's okay. Then that's where I will agree with you on that point. Where in terms of
they've been
the sheer
Washington has
volume, no, in terms of the sheer volume of players you're buying, it makes it quite problematic to either give opportunities, send players to write the developmental path for them in terms of loan signings and ultimately get into the first team. Makes it a bit problematic. I agree with you there. They've signed a lot of players. They've signed a lot of players in the last 2 years, and I think it's going to get to a point.
FIFA will step in and UEFA. I'm hundred
No,
percent sure.
gone down to Chelsea or buying a lot of players young. But I think one thing's for a fact, and it's not everybody can go. So very few of them that have been signed to Chelsea will actually make it at Chelsea. And I believe this window, in the next January window and windows to come, is going to be a cutting of the squad where you see players like, especially the ones that were bought in the first January window would be probably depart. So the likes of Dr. Fofana, who's on his way to Leicester, as it seems. Terry Cassett, that probably on his way out as well. It's all those, it kind of filters through, but it's also where it's kind is is a scattergun approach where you sign all these players, see who makes it. And from this mess, you've got the likes of Malo Gusto, Cole Palmer, you've got Lavia, Caicedo, good player, but ultimately you paid over 100 million for me. Enzo still has a lot of questions to prove in English football. But ultimately, he's still
No,
a fantastic player.
this is also my point. No matter what you talk about Enzo, like this is what I feel. And this is the problem. I will never criticize Enzo. People can talk all they want. And this is why I rate him. He has something that is rare, that is very, very rare. He
Hmm?
always wants the ball. I just feel he's in a
And
wrong
it,
club. He's in a wrong system. When you have
no,
a
no, no.
player and he's not careless with the ball, he hardly loses the ball. He might not be giving you the productive passes like Fabregas. And look at his age. He wants the ball and he doesn't
Yeah,
give back passes to
and it's
something.
also
That's
I think
whether
and I
100
think it's
million like come on, like
and I think it's also a testament to how good he is or how well respected he is
look at the assist he had
among the
yesterday.
squad.
Did you see the assist he had yesterday for the Magnet?
Yeah, I saw it.
I just feel be patient
I
with
think
this. I don't have a
again
problem with
exactly like because now we see
I,
Rodri and likes to.
I don't know why people criticize clubs when they overpay for players. People criticize Manchester United for overpaying for Lamine Euro or whatever Euro the new defender. But if they don't overpay, he doesn't come to them. So why I don't have to offer if I know that this is like a girl. If I know that this girl will not come to me if I don't bring money or if I don't show her I have so much money. Everybody cannot start from the same place. If I'm going to oppress you with my money and you want to oppress me with your intellect or with
Mm,
your intelligence or with your fine
okay.
boy or whatever, it's not my business. All I need is I need the girl. So if I overpay and it serves my purpose, that's not my business. We are not here to do accounting, to check the books and all. We are here. So the last point then we move on is also on the left side of Chelsea's attack, they are going to have issues with Sterling, with and I feel Derek George, the young player,
Uh,
the
with with
he would have
Mudryk, there's a famous there's a video viral video of American pundit Stephen A. Smith where he
yeah.
talks about
Yeah. It's a store, it's a scrub or something. Yeah,
he's a
yeah, that
scrub. Okay,
um
he has no post moves committed to memory. He can't shoot, he can't dribble, he can't pass, and I think
but you know
that's
what
why
I feel, you know what I feel, and that's why I feel that might never happen. That guy deserves a loan. But Chelsea, because of the money they paid, he just needs to play regular
no no
football.
no. No, no, no. See, no. I think we have to call it the way we are. I think we have to
It's
call
not
it how we see it.
yeah.
It's not about loan. No, I think it's not about loan. I think we just have to accept that this version of Mikhailo Mudryk is not suited for the demands of a Premier League club like Chelsea or a team that has high aspirations like Chelsea. And I don't think he's a player that needs to go. I think he's going to this season. He's going to be all eyes will be on him to see if he can kick on from last season. Because let's not forget, this is his second full season at Chelsea. He's going to second full season at Chelsea, and expectations are high on him. He's wearing Chelsea's number 10 shirt. His big money transfer from a few years ago. The expectations are still high. But ultimately, regardless of how you choose to, however you chop it up, he has to start delivering. Because and also he's in a position where it's quite the pathway for him to laying down that position on the left wing is quite fair. Where you have a player like Sterling with all the experience.
No,
Sterling, you have,
Sterling
no, no, no,
Sterling will
no,
only
no,
go down.
no, no, no,
That,
no,
and
no, no, no. Listen to me. No, no, listen to me again. I'm
that,
saying with Raheem Sterling with all the experience because this is the word. This is what
yeah,
most Chelsea fans are
yeah,
looking for now.
yeah,
Experience.
you're checking me. Okay, I
No,
get
yeah,
you.
no, no, no,
Yeah,
no. I am in fact checking you with Ryan. I'm saying Ryan Sterling with all the experience of winning multiple titles with Man City, achievements he's had with the English national team, the amount of goals he's scored in Premier League and assists he's had. Ultimately, he's very inconsistent with his attacking play. He makes sloppy passes. We saw it all last year when he's put through on goal. He has the choice of either passing or scoring the ball to a teammate, and he constant. I've never seen it. I've never seen it before. A player of this standard where who's achieved all he's achieved. This is not an academic kid. This is not a young player coming through or make his way in football. This is a player who ultimately he's a player most attacking players at Chelsea should look up to for in terms of guidance and help in building up that game. He constantly, I can't stress this enough. He constantly makes the wrong decisions whenever he's being put through on goal in terms of crossing, passing, when to shoot, how to shoot. We've all seen it. So this experienced player that all of you
yeah.
want, that is what Sterling is, and that's what he's showing. But ultimately, I looked at it like yesterday again. I think the left wing options we have at Chelsea is probably weak, and it will be interesting to see how Cole Palmer comes back into the team.
Can Kopama play on that position?
I won't want Cole Palmer. You know, ultimately, it
Or
comes down
non
to
Madueke, or non Madueke,
that's
because
exactly. So I think
because
it might come down to a
from
consideration where you
what I
get.
see from non Madueke, from that people can accuse him of missing chances. I get it, but
No,
one thing is you will notice him, and that is why
he's in the game. His action.
I tell people that is what I've come to realize with Jackson. You've been a Jackson fan. I've never been a Jackson fan, but I've accepted that with Jackson,
Jackson,
you
Jackson number one fan.
he can create his chances. You see him. He's not reliant on the striker on the midfielder serving him. He can come deep, get the ball and serve himself, but he can miss it. So with no Neymar Madueke, I think he should be playing regularly. With Kupama coming
No,
in, moves to that position. Palmer comes to the middle, or Palmer, but that left position maybe none should try and play it, but he can't cross. I don't know how they will do it. Let's go to the
no,
next one.
Yeah.
we have a day for the Hoochers. Let's go to the next one. At the same time, we have different opinions about this one. What do you think about Julian Alvarez moving to Atletico? Me, I'm gonna focus on the player, not on the two clubs. I'll focus on just Julian Alvarez as a player. Do you feel he's hurting his career or he's making the right decision? What do you think?
Oh, okay. With Alvarez, I think it's always
They said Fabrizio Romano reported Atletico have agreed with 95 million euros. I don't know until they sign him, but 95 seems very, very. I was
well.
thinking 97. I saw 95 yesterday
I
again.
think I think firstly he's that's a lot of money for Atletico Madrid. I think they're going through a sort of reshaping of their attack and the defensive line. I think that's is an interesting figure that Atletico Madrid put up for Julian Alvarez. But ultimately, you can see some people have the opinion that it's a bit steep, it's a bit expensive. But let's not forget, you're signing a two-time Premier League champion. You're signing a Cup winner as well. Also, recently crowned Copa American player as well with the Argentine national team. Admittedly, he didn't have the best of performances with the national team at Copa America, and he also further played in the Argentine Olympic national team as well. And by all accounts, he didn't really set it on fire as well. Ultimately, he's a very special kind of player as well. He's a very neat and tidy player, quite technically good finishing. His finishing is good as well. Very surprisingly very physical as well. He's very robust. He has a lot of pace. I think it's a good transfer for Atletico Madrid to pair with the new striker they got from Villarreal, Andres Solot. So I believe they're trying to form a big man and little man partnership with that front two. And from the Man City perspective, it's I think Pep has this not necessarily an open door policy. It's if you feel you belong in this club at this club anymore, they're not going to go out of their way to convince you to stay. This decision was probably made a long time for Alvarez, where he sees his future at Man City, where he can't really push Erling Haaland out of the team. And if Haaland starts and De Bruyne starts or Foden starts, he's ultimately on the bench because Haaland is obviously the number one hitman, and De Bruyne is the number one playmaker as well. And also last season he played a lot of games behind when De Bruyne was out for long spells. He played a lot of games just in the pockets behind Erling Haaland. So that could also be another problem where whenever he played with Haaland, he offered a different role than what he's used to as a playmaker type of shadow striker. And I also think when he was used as the actual number one, Haaland was injured, he wasn't. He played more of a withdrawn role as a deep line forward than actually box. He played quite different from the way Haaland plays. Of course, it's Haaland. No one can quite replicate what he does, but I think he was used in a very interesting ways at Man City. And also, we have to look at the personal reasons as well, because you all know Manchester and England is a very hard place to settle for a lot of foreign players, especially those from South America or Latin descent. It's tough for them to settle into places like Manchester, especially Manchester, where you have
Well,
players
no,
like you've had players like Tevez in the past.
let me
Tevez
say something.
notoriously hated it there.
Let me say something off the record, which you said
Yeah,
before we started
well,
recording about.
it's on the record.
Uh, sorry, on the record. Sorry, let me say something. Said off the. Let me say something on the record before starting. That you said about Manchester. You said that it's not easy. The rain.
It's not.
And funny enough, when you said it, I started smiling. Do you know why? You're saying it because you've been exposed to living in London, staying in London. Those people that have lived in the north don't really see it that way. Do you get it? Like I also stayed in Leeds, and I understand. I don't see any problem living in Manchester.
I know.
Taking the
Yeah, I
adjustment
understand.
to London, the hustle, the bustle was a little bit. Also, I don't want to, but I get it. They are moving from maybe Buenos Aires. They are moving from big cities wherever they come. and they might be more used to maybe Milan or Barcelona,
No,
where everybody.
even I think if you just look at it from the point of the weather alone, it's
No,
for
Lorenzo,
from an from a
Lorenzo.
from a player who's from an entire international who's coming from Argentina, spent 2 years in Man City. I don't know if he has a family yet or so, but it will be challenging to live in Manchester, especially the language, the city itself. And you compare that to Madrid, it's night and day. So I think that's obviously an obvious pull for him. They're going to go to a team that's was going to go play under another Argentine with Diego Simeone with a few other Argentine internationals in the squad as well. That probably aided his decision making. Probably also he's going to be more of a focal point for Atletico Madrid than he has been at Man City. And I think ultimately it's a good deal all around for everyone. This is one of those deals where you can see the logic through it. You can see the logic from the selling club because I don't think this is an offer you can't refuse, in my opinion, for
This
Man
is
City.
this
And I
is
think it's an opportunity for Alvarez
City.
to go do his business.
Remember City signed him for 14 million from was it where did they
River
sign? Was it
Plate,
River Plate? Was it oh
River,
he's the River
River
Plate. Oh, River Plate is my favorite Argentine club with because of
yeah,
Hernan Crespo. So this is my point, right? Crespo any day. This is my point, right? First, at 95 million, I thought it was expensive. I was like, I'm not, from an executive, I'm not paying that. But I thought over it, I slept over it, and I analyzed, and I felt right now, on just pure accounting terms, it is expensive. It's not, you can't do
I
this
think
deal. If you have some accountants, they're looking at the numbers, that's why you have to align accounting and sports. It's totally two different things. And then now, if you check at it sporting wise, it is cheap. It's a bargain. And this is why I'll tell you it's a bargain, that price. Jackson went for more than 35 million.
it's a so
It's a
so it's,
bargain.
it's a bargain for
It's
it's a
a,
bargain
for,
for
for Alvarez for 95 million. I will
as
prove you that. Hold on.
he should have
Let me
he should have gone.
more than that. Yeah. If you look, this is
No, but
because
yeah, but
if you factor in inflation, let me call the
I
players.
know.
Jackson,
But
you know
no,
who Jackson was? Went for more than 30 or 35. Solanke is linked to Tottenham for over 60 or for over
yeah,
60 or 50. The Manchester United player Holland from Denmark was over 50 something million. Darwin Nunes was over 50 to 60 million. Lewandowski
okay.
at the age of 10, at way over 30 was 40. I could go on and on and on. So if I'm looking at what other clubs paid, this guy is a world champion. He's a world champion. This guy has won three Premier League titles. So to me, if you look at what he has achieved for both club and country, off the field, he is good and all those things. It tells you that 95 million to me, you can call it tried and tested. It's not expensive. But I won't
No,
do
but
that.
I
I
know,
won't tell you.
but I think this is where I think it's also important to know. It's always been said that a value of a player is only what a buying club is willing to put up for that player. So
Yeah.
if Atletico Madrid knock on your door with that offer and
No,
you're
I'll
not
sell
deep,
him. I'll sell him. I'll sell
and
him.
so I think if the
I'll push him out. I won't even sell him. I'll pack his bag
no,
and then
no,
drive
not
drive it to
necessarily,
the airport.
not necessarily pushing up, but even for Man City's books, for Man City's sake, it's also I think they struggle to move certain players.
Yeah, yeah.
Calvin Phillips is a good that's a good fit for them in terms of the PSL regulations on their all the accounting and that. But
Mm.
it's I think I still think it's I think it's a lot of money. But
Okay.
ultimately, but I think ultimately, if it goes there, does the business, then we'll all
My
clap for that deal. So we'll see.
my takeaway is normal four takeaways. I'm not gonna talk about Atletico. We can make it another show about that, or Manchester City about the tactical whatever. We can make a show. I'm just talking about the player. Number one, I look at this deal and I'm like, you just realize we are all created differently. We all are different. What might be your priority might not be my priority. If I'm Alvarez, I'm not moving. This is me, right? This is how I think. I'm so obsessed with winning. I'm ready to win with 20 individuals than be the second person alone. I love winning. Now I'm staying with City. I'm not moving. I'm in a team that I feel is could end up as arguably the greatest team in the Premier League.
Well,
I know you always want to argue about that. I'm saying arguably. I'm not saying it's definitively. It's
okay,
objective. Now,
okay.
then at Atletico, I might not win the title. They have
Oh,
Real Madrid ahead. They have Barcelona ahead. It's possible. You remind me how many titles they won in the last. They were knocked out of the Champions League last 2 years. I forgot it. I think it was in the second round. It was disappointing.
mm,
Last year they barely knocked out Inter Milan, and then the next one Dortmund knocked them out. They've improved. They
mm.
have. If they get Gallagher, they have Slot or whatever, Solot or whatever. The new striker they have. I think he's Danish, right? I think he's Danish.
There's no, it's Norwegian,
Okay, is it
and
Norwegian?
there's Solot.
The
There's a
the
Norwegian striker.
Solot, okay. They have the Solot, they have Solot, they have him, they have Alvarez, they've improved the squad. I don't know. But at the same time, it's not a given they win titles. Am I ready? Am I ready to sacrifice winning to play regular football? At 24 years, I'm 24. I still have a lot.
Yeah,
I'm not even hit my prime. So what am I rushing out for? I think it's more of apart from winning, he has checked out of living in Manchester. Because this deal to me, he knew he was leaving. It's not a mistake. He just made a press conference all of a sudden. 1 week later, they've agreed a deal. He knew in his mind he's checking out of England, he's going to
yeah.
Spain.
I
To
think
me, so to me, he just wants to leave England. I'm not saying because he didn't play in the in big games, did not contribute, but the guy have mentally checked out of England. It's going to take him a lot of time to check in again. So that's what I think, that he just wants to go to a better
no.
environment as regards what he
Mhm.
thinks. He's behind Erling Haaland. People complain he hasn't played in give games. Yeah, but Erling Haaland scored 27 goals in 37 games last season in the league. Last season, he scored 36 goals in 35 games. So am I going to bench him for Alvarez? Like, what are people really talking about? Like, I'm all about winning. Alvarez scored 11 goals in 36 games. Alvarez scored 9 goals. Then they're going to be like, Haaland doesn't contribute. He only scores. But at the same time, the same people who say Haaland only score goals, he doesn't contribute, he doesn't know how to play back to post. They criticize Jackson that does everything and doesn't score goals. They criticize Morata that does everything and doesn't score. So to me, pick a side. Where are you? Like to me, goal scoring is the most difficult. People just talk about, when this goal scorer score a lot of goals, not everybody is going to be like Henry that score goals at the same time, does everything. Not everybody. Some people are like Trezeguet, they just score goals. So appreciate them. That's one. So I'm behind Haaland. It's not like I'm behind one guy. So why am I rushing out? I played 31 games, even if I play.
Yeah, but
So
it's
I don't see, and he's
I,
moving to Diego Simeone. Diego Simeone, yeah, he worked wonders with Diego Costa. He didn't work wonders with Morata. Like, what are you talking about? I'm not
oh,
knocking Diego Simeone. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I like Diego Simeone.
so
But sometimes,
okay,
if you don't play his style, you don't play his style. There's no two ways about it. So, and
but
some of the signings don't really work out. It's a big risk for me. I'm not moving anywhere till I'm 27. I'm winning
and
all the titles I wanted. That's the same thing that happened to Kevin Durant. He felt people criticize him for being in Golden State Warriors. Yes, people claim moving to Golden State Warriors in the NBA was the greatest or the weakest move by a superstar. But he's winning the NBA championship. He's winning championship. Now he left because he wants to prove a point. Has he won? No. So why am I concerned with what people think? I'm winning as much
but
titles
no,
as
I
I
know,
want till
wait,
I'm 27. Then
but
I check out
I
of
know,
City. I'm not leaving.
but I also think it's important to also acknowledge, like you said, with Kevin, with and excuse us listeners, we're going to debate to a bit of basketball talk. Like it's important to note with Kevin, like you said with Kevin Durant, it's so I think sometimes the perception, because he's a star athlete, star basketball player. I think the perception of athletes or basketball players it matters a lot to them than we think.
Because all of
Um,
them, even Shaquille O'Neal, when you say something bad about him, he goes on Twitter, he responds. It
I know,
matters
so
a lot.
exactly. So I think
You know
and
that
you say that with
European
I think
footballers they don't really say much. But
so I
basketballers,
think
they deny it. But they deny it, but it's a big lie.
no they can't deny, but I think we
Or
all know for a
peers, if
fact
you
that
say something about your peers, he replies you, have you forgotten this? They are emotionally volatile. So
yeah exactly. So
I'm not moving if I wish him well, and I'm winning all the titles. I'm winning 7 Premier League titles. until I'm 27
But
before
it's
I think.
not. But I think. I think he's already won Premier League, two Premier
Okay,
League titles like that.
so
He's
enough,
won. He's.
enough can never,
I know.
can never.
No.
I'm
I
winning
understand.
Premier League titles. I'm not leaving.
I know.
I don't
But
know
you have
how
to. You have.
regular. Yeah.
It's not. But I think we've mentioned it back before. But I think it's also important to consider the
Yeah,
personal
possibly
satisfaction for moving
yeah.
because he's not the first player we've seen who's struggled to settle in Manchester or in England or in the Premier League, and there's been players who've come from the Spanish league, or for example, specifically Atletico Madrid, where Diego Costa moved from Atletico Madrid to Chelsea, and Brazilian left back Felipe Luis moved to Chelsea, I think the same year as well.
That
But
they work out.
Felipe Luis couldn't really settle into the team, but ultimately couldn't really settle.
Conrado, the same thing. I
I
think he
know.
has
So
to.
it's no,
Their mind is
because
not
it's
just.
no, because it's. Let's be honest. It's not
But
really.
Conrado was
We
a
all love it.
bully. He was very physical in Juve. But in
No,
Chelsea,
but
he couldn't keep the ball. Like that's when you realize that if
no,
your
but it's
mind is
even.
not there, it's
But I think. But I also think you have to understand if you're say if you're a sports person or athlete, if your head is not settled into it, you can't really perform on the pitch.
it can't really play ball.
And I believe if your home satisfaction in terms of where you live and all that
Yeah,
in terms of the
yeah.
it's in terms of the weather and all, and especially the cultural importance or the cultural difference between living Argentina, Manchester, and now going to Madrid. It's quite clear where you can see
Yes,
an Argentine player struggling to adapt. So I don't
it's
think
totally,
it's
it's
I
totally
don't think
different.
if I think if you look at it from that perspective, it's a very simple deal to understand.
Okay,
So
okay,
moving on.
let's go to the next one. Okay, do you think Liverpool's inactivity in the transfer market could hurt them? Or why do you think they're yet to make any measures? I think they've signed one academy player and that was it. Why do you think they?
I think it's surprising, and it's also not that surprising if you know what I mean, and especially if you are very quite familiar with how previous sporting director, now chief of football operations, Michael Edwards operates. He's a very unique style in terms of Liverpool have, or previously in the past under him, Liverpool always had a player they wanted to get, or the player they believed was the player that could take them to the next level. And historically they've always been willing to wait to get that player for the right price, even be it expensive or be it world record or record breaking at that point. They've always been willing to wait and pay necessary fee for that specific individual, likes of Alison Becker, Virgil van Dijk, where they waited from the summer window to the January window, they got that man, and obviously we'll see what he's going to achieve. And there's no exact sign because they've. I think he's a director of football operator who's very savvy. He tends to find players in places where most might not relegated Hull City, where you pick up Andy Robertson, you bring him in, and also important. Also, let's not forget the
Even,
importance of the coaching from Jurgen Klopp as well.
even this guy, is he the one that signed Evan Cavalier or is this the Cavalier guy? Or
Carvalho, I'm not
Cavalier?
quite sure. I
It
think
might
it's
not be
also
the might
I'm
be
not
the
quite sure, but I think it's well, it's a situation where I think they've said between the new sporting director Richard Hugh and new head coach, they want to assess the whole squad first before they make any transfer business. And it's been reported in the last few days that they have identified they're looking for a new midfielder, a number six specifically. And I think Liverpool is a squad where some I believe they need specific
if
individuals
they're
to
looking
improve
for
the team.
number six, is Endo not a number six?
But this is ultimately, like I said, with Edwards. It's well documented that Liverpool made bids or attempts to sign Caicedo and Lavia last season. They couldn't
Yeah.
get either, so they then went for a specific player in Endo, and I
So
believe
Endo was the
that's
stopgap.
yeah, it will appear so. But that's also where you put yourself in this whole bubble where you go sign a player who wasn't necessarily your first choice. You bring him in, and you find yourself in a year or two
But they say
trying
he
to.
had some good games towards the end of the
He
game.
had.
But I don't think he has a high ceiling. Maybe that he just gave
no,
away.
but I think it's a position you look at and you see that's really done since Fabinho started declining as a football player. I think that's the position where Liverpool have struggled to find a specific player.
And lost apart from number six in numbers, but they lost two very highly good defensive players in Wijnaldum and Fabinho because
Exactly.
Wijnaldum was,
So and
but he could also help you defensively, and they've never
yeah,
improved.
exactly.
And
And and and and, and I think it's also important to add that in terms of football model and style of play, it seems the new coach is quite it varies from the way Klopp likes to play. So I think he's looking for more ball playing focus. It's more they're focusing on the ball playing number six, a playmaker, if you say. So that's an interesting one. But also, if you look at the forward line, I think Liverpool have a lot of forwards on their books. So it's also another case where they might have to sell one or two to bring in
I, I,
another player. So
if you ask me, I'll tell you simple. The sporting director, and this is why I tell Liverpool fans that like if you ask me if the season starts today, right? If the
mhm,
season starts today and you ask me for my favorites to win the league title, I'll go Manchester City number one. I'll go
yeah,
Liverpool number two. Liverpool over Arsenal. And you'll be shocked. And this is why I tell you I'm not. I'm an Arsenal, and when I mean fan is I like, not that. Not I like. I appreciate. I'm an
you
Arsenal
appreciate,
fan.
yeah.
I appreciate about the executives, what the Arsenal executives are doing, what Edu is doing, the recruitment. I'm not an
But Arsenal
Arteta executive.
fans,
I'm not. I'm
but
not.
us,
No.
but us,
So
but
they can think.
some Arsenal fans are not quite happy with
They they can.
Edo's
They can think
Edo's
of all the.
recruitment.
They could think about it. They could get angry at Edu till they find themselves like Chelsea fans. Then they will appreciate him with.
No, yeah, I know.
Let me finish.
No,
But you
So
find yourself down like Chelsea there, you appreciate right now
no,
appreciating anything good that happens.
no, but you're talking. See,
Joking.
but we're discussing Liverpool's or fans not being happy of lack of business. They're not happy. We have Chelsea fans who found a club that's been very active in terms of business. They are not happy. So
You can never
what
make everybody happy.
exactly?
You can never
Okay,
make everybody
so
happy. Some people
so
do.
this whole
Why?
okay, so
The only problem I knock Edu is that they don't kick out, not kick out, they don't clear or sell players that didn't work. They keep them again. What's the essence? But in terms of getting players, they do it. Now, let me go about Liverpool. Why I like Liverpool, this Liverpool, not the towards the end of Jurgen Klopp, is that it seems that the executives are aligning with the coach. They're on the same page. They're assessing the
yeah,
players they have. They're assessing the players.
which in my opinion, I think it's a fantastic way to
And
go about it.
towards the end of Klopp's time, I think they made a lot of mistakes, but it didn't come out to public. I have a list here. Naby Keita never worked. Oxlade Chamberlain was. You can praise Thiago Alcantara
50,
all you want, but he had only one good season. So there are players they've signed before that didn't work, and they let them work. Then the recent ones, Nunes has not clicked.
for
Tommy
Liverpool.
Cass, no matter how you look at Tommy Cass, this is just a preseason. He hasn't clicked. Ryan Gravenberch, I've never believed in him. I just feel he's one of those Ajax fraud. I don't think he's good enough for Liverpool. He hasn't clicked. Fabio Carvalho, he went on loan or whatever. He hasn't clicked. So the recent signings are not really clicking, but the academy is prospering because you have
It's producing, it's
Callahan or
producing.
yeah, he's producing. You have the goalkeeper Callahan or Kellerman, whatever. He's there. You have the Basley, the right back, and I so much like the right back that if I have another right back like that, I know Trent is good, but if there's a striker like let me give you an example. If there's a Haaland right there, and they're telling me that I need 60 million to buy Haaland, and I have 50, I will sell Trent and buy Haaland and leave this number two to play that number two. I so much like this number two. This they are
And
Basley.
I think I think
It's like
I
race
think
and number one and number two that I am so in love with. Race and Gusto, like Trent and the other one. To me, there's the gap is not much. If this one is not playing, it's just experience. So
okay,
now the recent players haven't clicked. So I'm thinking they're
but
saying,
it's
let's see what
I also think it's important because, like you said, you alluded to the signings they've made. So it's important to ask, okay, who's been the driving force behind the signings?
The,
Has it been
the fans claim it's
has it
flop.
been
The
has it been
fans,
co- no,
the
it's no,
fans.
it's no, well, if you look at the obvious or the
Oh,
movements.
but I want to say it out like they say out in the street. Let's not
Yeah,
sugarcoat it. What has been I don't follow Liverpool that much. I read whatever I read and then I listen to people. What they claim or what they say is that club drove like Edwards out of town. Whatever
yeah,
it
it's
is. He didn't like it. I don't know what happened. But Edward left. Then Klopp ran the show the way he wants to run the show. And then he ran it
well,
and he found out it wasn't as successful as Edward is. Edward
well,
had
it
to come back
depends.
to leave.
Well, I think it depends on which side or who you listen to and how they phrase it. But I believe what is obvious is Michael Edwards left Liverpool. Surprisingly, left to go. I think he started
He said he wanted to
that.
leave. All of a
I
sudden
no,
he
but
got
yeah, yeah. Well,
he said
he
there
left
was a
Liverpool.
yeah.
No, well, first he left Liverpool to go do his side projects outside
Uh,
football. Then his second in command at the time, Julian Ward, gets promoted to sporting director, and in due time he also departs
left
the
again.
football club.
Uh,
And it's if you lose two sporting directors in a short amount of time, relatively short amount of time,
mhm.
that will ring alarm bells anywhere else, especially when you have a figure as strong as Jurgen Klopp. Because at
Yeah.
Liverpool, not just Liverpool Football Club, Liverpool as a city, the club is somewhat of a popular figure in that part of the world where he's bigger than football to the city. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there's very I don't think there's anybody in football right now that most Liverpool fan base, even the owners would want to go against club in terms of a power struggle behind the scenes. So
Mhm.
you lose two sporting directors, and it seems Klopp and more importantly his assistant coach Pep Linders get more involved in player recruitment. So they start looking at they look into the Dutch league. They find players like Cody Gakpo. They bring in Cody Gakpo. They brought in Darwin Núñez. These are players bought for big money. I'm mentioning here, and they brought in Ryan Gravenberch. And all these players they've not quite worked out for Liverpool. They all look they're very unique type of players compared to the initial signings they made. That signings like Mane, Salah, Firmino, and Ronaldo that made Liverpool what they were. Those signings were not quite expensive, except from the Alisson and the Van Dijk signing. But these signings they've come for big money, and they've not really convinced. They've been patchy, but they've not really convinced. And it gets to a point where you start asking the question, okay, what direction are we going sports wise off the pitch in
And
terms of recruitment? And
did you listen to Club about he might be interested in coaching soon? Or what he said recently.
yeah, and
That guy
I
already
think
said
for
he
now,
just got tired of
yeah,
I don't think he
it
got
got
tired
tight.
of coaching. He got tired of being in Liverpool. I'm like,
No, but also, and I think it's important. Let's not forget with Klopp. I think what Klopp missed. I think Klopp missed the day to day life of a normal man. He missed the normality in because I think he recently became a grandfather as well. I think that gives another perspective of what's important right now. But it could be a situation where he spends a year out of football, he misses it, and he comes back in another one shape or form. It could be with the US national team or the English national team. We don't know. There's a lot of speculation. But what we know is that football moves very quickly, and there's nothing set in stone. But it's also then back to Liverpool's lack of business in the summer. I think if it's clear now that Michael Edwards has come back into the club, I think it's a situation where they're going to sit down with the football recruitment staff and the coach and see, okay, what pieces do we have right now? Where can we improve? Where do we need to improve? And where can we cut in the squad? So you see, so it's very, especially when you factor in the summer where you have the Euro tournament, the Copa America, some players are missing, or some players are just coming back, haven't returned yet from international break. It's very hard to tell what you have or analyze in the squad. But I think they've ultimately figured out they need a number six, and I think they probably might need a left back. But they might find, or might one problem that might be a stumbling block might be their ability to shift players that they will find surplus to requirements. Because it's been another club we will talk about at some point. Manchester United is that's what they found. That's a big stumbling block in their some
when you say
in
When
that.
you pay players so high, it becomes, and then recently, it's becoming a norm that the players don't care. They just want to get the money. They don't really care about game time. Give them 4 games, give them, because there are some players like Jody, is it Jody Gomez or Joe Gomez? Or I'm like thinking, what are you doing? Like Shaqiri was in Liverpool for years. Origi was. I understand, but I have to be part of. I don't feel like I'm a part. When Julian Alvarez is complaining that he doesn't feel a part of, you'll be thinking like he had the Origi game time or you had the Shaqiri game time. Man, those ones are really not. They could come in and do some magic and score some goals, but I don't know. But it depends. Let's see. But I think Liverpool
I,
is a good. I'm not even
yeah,
interested in Liverpool. I rather
I
encourage the
think
coach whatever he wants to do and find out who he wants to sell,
exactly.
and
But
then
also,
and
but also
not
think
not
it's
compare him with the club. Like let him do his thing. I'm not saying he's not
that's
there to
I,
stay,
I
but
think
don't compare
I,
him. Let him
I think
run. Go. I think
that's going to be
to me, if you ask me, I don't want people to get me wrong, but if you ask me, I think he might end up doing better than Klopp.
wait.
Yeah, yeah. This is my point. This is my point. This is my point. I'm not saying he's a better
Yo,
coach.
relax,
I'm not
relax,
saying
oh, relax,
hold on,
no, relax,
hold on,
relax.
hold
No,
on. I'm not saying he's a better coach. What he
better than
inherited.
Klopp.
No, no, what is it? No, I'm not saying he's better than Klopp. I said
No,
what
no,
he
no.
inherited. Let me finish. What is he
Yeah,
inherited a way better squad than Klopp inherited. What he
but
inherited right now is like 2 years of what the job Klopp had to do before he got to that level.
yeah, but
That's
it's
that, that,
no,
that, that that's what I'm saying. Understand what I'm saying? What Klopp inherited was so, I will not say bad, but Klopp had to do a lot of work. Forget that he
it
went
was
to so many
it
finals.
was a mess. It was a
But
mess. It
but
was a
right
mess. It was a
now,
mess.
the players this guy has from Trent, yes, Van Dijk is in decline. He has Kwanzaa, he has Konate, he has a second keeper. You can't compare the squad he has now to what Klopp
Okay,
has. I'm not talking about
oh,
coaching or whatever.
okay,
How can I coach
okay,
somebody in 4 games? I'm
okay,
saying the ball is in his court.
okay,
So,
but also well, it's also important to also state that when you talk about Klopp, you also have to accept the fact that Klopp wasn't just a football coach of Liverpool. Like I
so
said,
Klopp is the only manager I make exception for. You can't judge him with
he
titles
was
he won.
he was I think
Make that exception for him.
he
That's
was
coachable.
like he was like a Pope figure in Liverpool, and it's also important, especially when things get because let's not forget things were very. Klopp had his sticky points, but went through a bit of turbulence at certain points in his Liverpool career. But ultimately, what kept the naysayers or what kept the question marks quiet was the trust you have in a manager like Klopp, a manager that's been successful in a club like Borussia Dortmund, not a fancy club to win titles in the Bundesliga, especially going against the mighty Bayern Munich, and the personality he brings to the football club as well. The calmness, the focus, the just the unwavering support and belief in what he's trying to achieve. In a way, he brings everyone along as well. It got to a point where everyone was just, okay, you know what? We're all in. Whatever club does, we're all in. Who's not good enough? Whoever's club says is not good enough. Storage, Philip Coutinho, Mohamed Sako, Dejan Lovren. Either they perform badly or just a club ultimately they didn't figure in his plans. He moved them out and the club went in one more importantly, one
One,
direction.
one thing I give to Klopp is like, I would say he's the only manager that moves on players and he still uses them. He doesn't put them on the bench and doesn't use them.
But that's
Lovren, he
uh,
played Lovren. The only guy who did that, the only guy he just ended was Karius after that mistake in the final. But from
but it's
Lovren,
just
Lovren,
and before we move on, I think it's also let's put a final point on this topic. I think it's we cannot forget the fact that Liverpool there's a big issue in terms of player contracts. I think three of our star players.
that's a
I think
disaster. Whoever was
um
discussing that stuff he did it wrong. If a player doesn't, no matter, except you are Caesar Aspilicueta, that did not have any lawyer. He negotiated his contract. He signed his contract by himself. He comes there. He just reads the contract and he signs. Except you are Caesar Aspilicueta, which is very, very rare. I can't leave you to have 1 year on your deal. If you don't extend in this 2 years to like a year
but I
before,
think
oh, yes,
let's
I'm sending
let me
you. I'm
But I
telling
think they
you,
have. I think they.
I can't,
I,
except that I want to let you live on a free, which like Club Legend or something.
just let's see. So they have Van Dijk contract. Van Dijk's contract expires next year, 2025, and Mohamed Salah. Let's see. Salah's contract doesn't quite say here. Salah's contract is also up in 2025, and I think there's another one. I think there are two more. Trent
You have
Alexander-Arnold.
Trent.
I think Alice. Let me see. Allison. I can't find Allison. But I think so far they have this three Potter first team players. It's a very sticky situation going into the season with their contracts up in the air. I think that, and also I think getting these players to commit to a new contract, you can depends on how you want to look at it. That could be seen as more important than getting a new transfer
No,
in.
no, except they want to lie to themselves. There's no way to. The problem is money. There's no all these guys you listed. Salah, there was a time I know Liverpool could have sold it to Saudi Arabia, but he didn't want to go. So it's not about. I don't think it's a project with all of them. These are people that have stayed in Liverpool for years and want to stay. I don't really think that also they have problems with their
Okay, Allison,
playing time.
I think Allison is okay. So it's just Trent,
So I don't think it's their playing
Alexander-Arnold,
time.
Van
I think
Dijk, and Salah. No,
they want
it's not about playing time. It comes down. I think ultimately it comes down to the financial package and
yeah,
the
financial.
in terms of Salah and Van Dijk, their age. I think Salah is a physical specimen at right now in football, where he's one of
And
the
they drop
fittest players around.
they drop their ball. They drop the ball on Saturday. I feel, but they could
So,
have had somebody to replace
but
him gradually because
I know, but I
how much
think
are you going to send him again? You want to give him another 2 years? He's going to be demanding for 3 years. How do you give him 3 years with the amount of? You understand
that's
what I'm saying? You could have had someone shadow him. They did a good job with Diaz, the Colombian international, but who is the second person? So that
no, but
by
you can
this time,
always. I think
towards the end of
I think you can always find I think you can always find you
I
can
can
always
always
find.
I can always pay Van Dijk whatever extra money because I don't think his wages is as high as Salah's. And then he's a defender also. But Salah's, and then I think if you give him 2 years, he might take the 2 years. Salah might be demanding for three. I don't know. Like Trent, I don't have a
So
problem with that.
okay.
How
So let me put the question to you in this hypothetical question. Say it comes down to the situation where you have to, or you can only renew two of these players for say financial reasons or whatever reasons, but it comes down you can only sign only two of these three
I'm not
players.
renewing Salah. I'll say it. I'm not.
So
I'm
you
not
renew.
renewing. This is why I'm not renewing Salah. He's going downhill. It's gradual. You see, he's not
But
here. But
no, no, yeah, no. But you say wait.
I'm
But
renewing.
what's
Hold on. I'm
yeah?
renewing Trent. Trent is not even in this list. I'm giving
I
him.
think
I'm renewing
Trent is
Trent
number one.
because
Trent is
even if
number
I
one.
renew him, he gives me an upper hand in selling him. Right? I'm renewing him. Right? That's one. The reason why I'm renewing Van Dijk is he might also be going down the age and all those things. But I think this is my perception. I may be wrong. I think Van Dijk will be more open to a reduced length of contract, not really the money package. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Length of
Yeah.
contract. Because I'm not convinced about Konate. I keep telling you, I don't like Konate. You like Konate. The problem I have with Konate, I think he's slow. He's just physical. He's physically big, and he knows how to use his physicality
He's
very,
quite
very well.
quick. I think the
So he's
problem with
quick.
Konate is
I'm not
I think
convinced.
it's his health problems.
Maybe whatever, but I'm not convinced. So that creates. I'm so convinced with Kwanzaa, with what I've seen with the young player. So that still tells me I need Van Dijk.
So you're saying if it comes down to it and you can only keep two out of three of them, you'll comfortably
Because
let Salah run out his
no,
contract.
no, I put myself in this situation now because I knew Salah is going to go down. His production will go down. It's like
But
Sterling.
what if
At that age, when this guy started that
it
early,
doesn't?
not man,
No, but
but he's
I
going
know.
to, and I can make
But
the most money from him. So why am I keeping him? He's gonna
what if
demand for
Salah?
2 years at that salary. I can't understand what I'm saying. It's a lot of money to commit to one player. I don't know. It's a lot of money. I can make a lot of money from him and go and get somebody else. I should have been thinking about who do I think can replace him. Maybe I'll suffer for the meantime or for some games, but I'll be fine. You can always figure it out.
But I think I see the logic behind Salah, and I think it's also important to also state that according to the rumor mill, Liverpool have actively or are actively looking at Anthony Gordon of
You
Newcastle.
understand exactly? That's what
So
I'm saying. I'm looking at somebody
I
also.
think it's but it's also let's also add that there's still a lot of time to go, and
But
it's
they
one
could have got that person last year to do this, then evaluate, then this year decide on what to. But I'm not letting Salah go on a free. Not.
but this is the problem where if you have your club and you've let go of two sporting directors, who then ultimately makes that decision to give Salah a new contract, or what terms to give Salah a new contract?
I'm open. I'm open to. He has 1 year left. I'm open to giving him 2 years. Like you understand what I'm saying?
So Salah right now is he's 32 years of age, and he had a wow
Because
he had
Salah will have a very Salah will have a very good season this season. 100%. I
he
don't
had
think
an
next.
he had he had 18 goals and 10 assists return last season. That still puts him as one of the best
So yeah,
in the
yeah,
league.
that's too good.
So
Because all
well,
these things all
time will
these things
tell. Time will tell.
all these things are difficult because Nunes is not performing. So Frank, that should be all for today. That should be all for today for us.
Okay,
Meet
yeah,
up
yeah.
next time, by this time next time, and then if you like what you saw or what you witnessed or what you observed, subscribe and then hit the like button. A word for
And
our audience.
also as always, my gratitude to the support to our growing fan base, the support we're getting, and also if you have any questions or any topics you'd like us to cover, please leave a comments
Okay.
on our page.
Okay.
Thank you again.
Okay.
Uh,
Thank you.
thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Check out.
Bye bye. Okay.